The aim of life. Is there an aim to life from a spiritual point of view? Hello, this is Shores of Infinity with your host Chris speaking. Today with a video about the aim of life. The question, is there an aim to all this madness? From the viewpoint of Sri Aurobindo's The Life Divine, Book 2, Chapter 16, The Integral Knowledge and the Aim of Life, Four Theories of Existence. And he starts here with an interesting quote. When all the desires that cling to the heart are loosed away from it, then the mortal becomes immortal. Even here he possesses the eternal. Is from one of the Upanishads. So, the aim of life starts with losing away all desires that cling to the heart. And that includes hope and religion. Now, if we assume that there is an aim to life, the danger is that this creates hope or religion. And this is not what is meant here. It's not about hoping or believing in something, having faith in something. These two are desires that cling to the heart. Sorry, my laptop is making weird fan noises. I hope it doesn't disturb too much. So all desires that cling to the heart have to be cast away, including all hope. Still, as we have discussed in the previous chapter, we have to be open to the possibility that there is an absolute divine that we can transform towards, and that there's the possibility of transformation, of transcendence, of becoming, and that there is an aim to life, to human life. Human beings as a collective also. So we have to assume some things. That's the problem with Sri Aurobindo. It's based on assumptions, which is never a good thing, but it seems it is necessary. Just let's follow his logic and see where it leads to. But assumptions, of course, are fraught with danger. So the first assumption is we affirm an absolute as the origin and support a secret reality of all things. This absolute reality is indefinable and ineffable by mental thought and mental language. The first assumption is that there is an absolute, but we cannot grasp it with our mind. It is there as the basis of reality and truth, the cosmos, the individual, and the everything, but we cannot grasp it with the mind. That's why we have to assume that it is there, because there's no other way to deal with it. And this absolute manifests itself in two varieties. First as a being, and second as a becoming. The being is the fundamental reality that we assume is there, and the becoming is something that is in the process of becoming reality. It's a dynamic interplay of illusion and reality. And we are part of that. We as human beings are part of that, of this becoming. This is also what is called evolution of consciousness, for example, or evolution. Many people will say there is no reality, so there is no evolution, there is no absolute, there is no becoming. It's all illusion. And he says here, yes, illusionism itself is a good ultimate conclusion, but it is limited. It's pragmatic, and we need to go through this. We need to go through this period of illusionism, of nihilism, to say everything is bullshit, everything is illusion, everything is Maya. That's a necessary step. And the interesting thing about Sri Aurobindo and Meher Baba is that they both said, after that there is more. To see that everything is an illusion is not the last step, but we have to go through it. So this is the trick here. It's not the ultimate conclusion that everything is an illusion. we needed to cut ourselves off of this materialism that still lingers in us, no matter if we accept this or not, or see it or not, but we're clinging to this materialism, and the only way to disengage from this is to assume that everything is an illusion. At the same time, if we want to go beyond that, we have to assume that there is some kind of ineffable, inexplicable absolute beyond this illusion that creates this illusion. So our next affirmation is that the fundamental reality of the absolute is to our spiritual perception a divine existence. Satchitananda, or some people would call it God or the gods. Yeah, to our perception, at first this absolute appears to be a divine being. That's the only way we can perceive it initially. No matter if we believe in God or not, in one God and many gods or goddesses, we first have to have some idea of the divine, being it pantheistic or monotheistic, doesn't matter. From the Upanishadic and Vedic point of view, all is Brahman. Yeah? And it is a being, and somehow it is not a being. But to us it appears to be a being. We cannot think it otherwise, that there is some intelligence and some plan behind it. So we think of it as a person somehow, as a super person. And it's still, the transcendent is the main thing here, yeah? The divine being, he calls it Satchitananda, is at once impersonal and personal. It is an existence and the origin and foundation of all truths, all forces, all powers, all existences. But it is also the one transcendent conscious being and all person, of whom all conscious beings are the selves and personalities. This is important, yeah? Because it means that we as the human species and we as individuals belonging to this human species are part of it. Yeah? This illusion to be of being individual selves, individual personalities, is also part of the whole. The whole consists of parts, or at least this is again how we can conceive of it. And as parts of the whole, we have the possibility of becoming, of transcending, of coming home, so to say. The question here is, of course, if there is such a thing as an absolute divine thingy, does it want its parts to come home, or does it want its parts to play in the world of illusion? Maybe both. According to Sri Aurobindo, it's part of the plan that some of these souls come home and exit the illusion. And the illusion is involution and evolution. Now, especially the involution, the manifestation of the being in our universe takes the shape of an involution, which is the starting point of an evolution. There's a video already I made about involution and evolution. Involution is the opposite of evolution. Evolution is developing into a higher, in quotation marks, form of existence, and involution is the opposite. Involution is towards matter, and evolution is towards spirit. So it is a descent kind of, yeah, like all these mythologies of descending into the underworld. Not only we can do this with our psyche, but also the divine obviously is able to do that and is doing it. But this descent into the material plane, where we are limited by the laws of matter, which we call physics, is makes the evolution possible. So there is no evolution without involution. We have to play the game, the manifestation, the hemisphere of mind, life and matter in order to transform the spirit. And as I said before, that our way there, our link there is intuition, which belongs to the psychic being, and the psychic being is our link between the individual and the absolute, the all one. So initially we have this interplay between life, mind and matter. Life and matter are the substrate in which everything is possible. First we have to have matter so that anything can be. Then we have to have life so that movement and change can happen. And then we have mind, which can observe all this, although it's initially fraught with mistakes. First it's all mistakes and then it's less and less mistakes. But we have the potential, we have the, what's it called? Yeah, let's leave it at potential. We have this potential of transforming and entering the supracosmic view. Yeah, he says it's not only enough, it's both. That's how the book started. To see everything as matter, as an innate, unintelligent cosmos is not complete. And to see everything as divine is also not complete. We have to have a supracosmic view, and this supracosmic supreme reality view mind, life and matter play their game of Maya. And there are four main theories. The first one is the supracosmic, where we view that only the supreme reality alone is real, everything else is illusion. This is partly correct. As we have said in the beginning, we have to go through this phase. Then we have the cosmic and terrestrial, where we see everything only as matter. We have the planet Earth and the sun and the other planets and the other galaxies and blah blah blah. Everything is just dumb matter, and any evolution is just accident. Then we have the supra-terrestrial or otherworldly, that everything is actually somehow, there are different beings and different planes of existence, and you don't really need to have a body. The soul goes through a journey and then goes into heaven or hell or gets reborn, reincarnated, and there are other beings without body or different body and so on. Like in shamanism, for example, or in many religions. These three theories usually fight against each other. Either everything is God, or everything is matter, or everything is subtle soul matter. And they usually contradict each other, or at least exclude one of the three factors. And then there's the fourth theory, which he calls integral or synthetic or composite, that tries to reconcile all theories and see what's behind it. So he says there is truth in all these three theories. There is matter, yes, and it is real in a way. And there is some higher being that is the ultimate reality. That's also true. And there is also subtle worlds and beings and some stuff that happens with the soul. They don't exclude each other. It's not necessary to throw out any one of them. They're all true in a way, but they're all limited, so we have to have an integral synthetic view that goes beyond these limits. He says the cosmic being it the all-being or its individual aspects like us, is not a meaningless freak of fantasy or chance error or accident. There is some significance behind it. There is some significance, some truth behind it, some expression, some enigma, some existence, some reality, some truth, that there is something happening. There is something happening. We know from Plato's cave metaphor, from the Matrix, that what is happening could just as well be an illusion, but still this illusion would have to be created by someone and lived through by someone or something. So there is something happening. If it's material or not, something is happening and there is a significance behind it. Unfortunately, to see what's behind it, we have to delve first into the underworld, into the inconscience, into the darkness. So this is the synthetic, the integral conclusion Sri Aurobindo comes to, that this involution and evolution does exist and that it is on purpose. So what we are going through, including our suffering and our seeking, is on purpose. It's part of the divine plan, which we cannot understand for some reason, but we can link into it. And again, the link is intuition and psychic being. And on our way out of this inconscient darkness, the first thing we encounter is matter. Matter is our conscious starting point. We see, okay, there is a world, there is a table I can knock on and will not disappear if I wish it away. So matter is also real, but it's not the only thing that's real, but that is the starting point. There's also a nice parallel here to the Hawkins scale. Here in the first 200 or so on the Hawkins scale, there is only matter. Someone who is below 200 cannot imagine that there is more. He says the human being is there to affirm him or herself in the universe. That is the first business, but also to evolve and finally to exceed the human being. So first we have to affirm ourselves in this world of matter and also the subtle world. And then later to exceed ourselves, to evolve, to enlarge this complete being, to transcend. To summarize, what we are as human beings, we are not only existence, or we are not existence, we are becoming. We are in a constant flux, a constant movement of change, of transformation, of becoming. And to go with this flow, instead of standing against this flow, is the spiritual path. Yeah, go with the flow. As the Buddhist saying goes, follow what flows, don't follow what doesn't flow. And the cosmic flow is towards evolution, towards transcendent, towards transformation, towards enlargement. It's not better, but it's larger than before, to unfold possibilities. So our job is to go with the flow. That's at least what Sri Aurobindo says, to assume that there is an aim to life and then to go towards it by going with the flow, by following our intuition. And then there will also be less suffering, because suffering is part of inconscience, and the more we get out of this inconscience towards conscience, the less there will be suffering. Again, here's the tricky part. to not see it as a religion, to not see it as a hope, to not see it as an escape, but to see it as an evolution of self-transformation, self-fulfilling, self-affirmation. To really say, yes, I'm here in this world and I'm going through this transformation. I'm part of this becoming. I'm part of this evolution, consciously. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me on Patreon. Thank you to all those who have already joined me on Patreon. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up so that people can find it. And see you soon.